Disturbing video has gone viral on the internet. It shows a toddler, a little boy wearing only a diaper, trading obscene words, insults, and profanity with at least two adults who seem to encourage him. The video is not easy to watch. Here's part of Casey Wyand's report.
You a bitch. You a bitch. Stop. You throwing the fit right now, little you. Put that bitch off. You ain't talking that now.
The child then flips his middle finger at the camera.
You too.
The toddler, whose face was shown in the original video but CNN has obscured, exchanges at least 35 swear words with the adults in the 1-minute, 23-second video.
Say bitch. Stop say
That's why you can't fight.
Say you a bitch.
Bitch.
They discuss sexual matters, even apparent gang affiliations.
Oh, where is he from? What?
I'm from Dushnam.
What hood you from?
Something's different.
16. He said he from 16.
Say the name 3 times. You a hoe. What's up then?
Well, the video is posted on the website of the Omaha, Nebraska Police Officers Association, which says it got a tip that it was uploaded to the public Facebook page of a person refers to as a, quote, local thug, and that it posted the video because it wants to educate the public about what it calls the, quote, terrible cycle of violence and thuggery. One African-American leader accuses the union of crossing the line and using racially charged language. Omaha's police chief says he strongly disagrees with web postings that can divide the community. However, the police department confirms to CNN that it has contacted Child Protective Services to investigate the video and that its own child victims unit is looking into it as well. I want to talk about this more with Ariba Martin, an attorney and children's advocate. Great to have you on the program again. Obviously, what the adults are doing in this video is appalling. No one should ever talk like that to a child, get a child to say those things. I'm curious, though, what do you think? Can Child Protective Services actually intervene based on one video?
Absolutely, Anderson. We know that Child Protective Services get involved in cases a lot of different ways. There are some individuals who are mandatory reporters, such as teachers and police officers and doctors, but also anyone, a neighbor, can make a report to Child Protective Services and they can do an investigation. They can talk to the parents, they can talk to the adults in this video, the school if this child attends schools, medical providers, anyone that's involved in this child's life can be a part of this investigation for them to determine, is this child being abused or is there a possibility of abuse? And abuse is widely defined, not just physical abuse, can be both mental and emotional abuse as well.
But I mean, the adults in the video are not the child's parents. The man apparently is the child's uncle. CPS can still intervene. I mean, they can intervene just in cases of bad parenting?
Absolutely. They can order the parents to go to parenting classes. They can order that the child not be in the presence or not be cared for by this particular uncle if they believe the uncle is not providing a safe environment for the child or is subjecting this child to harm. Child Protective Services has a great deal of latitude, Anderson, in keeping children safe. That's its mandate. And in this case, it is clear that the adults need help. Looks like a family in crisis and looks like someone needs to step in to make sure this child is safe.
So how would that work? CPS would visit the child's home, then launch an investigation? Visit the home,
talk to all the adults that are in this child's life and try to find out what's behind this video. Is this an aberration? Is this, a one-time situation, or is this the environment that this child is in on a regular and daily basis? Clearly not healthy, not developmentally appropriate for this child to be using this kind of language, to be around adults using this kind of language. And they can step in and mandate that this child be cared for in a completely different manner and that this child be kept safe.
For the people from the police union who actually posted this video, do you think, I mean, they should have posted the video? Should they have just actually called the police? Do you think it was inappropriate for them to label this, thuggery?
This video and the posting of this video, Anderson, is just reprehensible. I can't see any value in the police union in posting it. Absolutely, if they saw it, call Child Protective Services. If your real goal was to help this child, then do something that's going to directly impact the child. It looks like this was vindictive. act on the part of this police union may be done to divide this community. We know that there's been issues with African Americans in this community, lawsuits that have been filed. So I can't help but think that there's some animus involved in the posting of this, because clearly it's not going to help the child or the parents.
Well, we'll see what happens on the case. Reba Martin, I appreciate you you being on as always. There is a lot more happening tonight. Susan Hendricks has a 360 bulletin. Susan?
I want to get your take on this, but just quickly, I want to show you this video. We went to the internet and found some examples of other children with adults cursing. A couple of them. Listen.
Good one.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Beautiful combination. He's on, he's down. Something needs to.
Bitch! Yeah!
Suck, shut up.
Shut up.
You weak ass punk.
Shut up. I just knocked his ass out, bitch.
Wendy, it's more common than most people think, right? And it's not just about race, is it? PM, thanks, Anderson. You know, last night we told you about a controversial video that was posted online by the Omaha, Nebraska Police Association. Video shows a child in diapers cursing and making obscene gestures with the adults who are taping him and encouraging him. We have cleaned it up for TV, but we want to warn our viewers, it is disturbing.
Oh, where is he from? What?
I'm from Deuce now.
Wait a minute. What hood you from?
Something's different.
16. He said he's from 16.
Say the name 3 times. You a hoe. What's up then?
So the video led to a very heated debate on this show about whether it was right to post the video online.
Do you think that this is a common occurrence, even in places where there's high levels of violence? You think that?
Yes.
I do.
And that
I
is,
do.
Yes.
I hear people talking to their children. I hear people talking to their children like that all the time.
Really?
Yes.
You see people walking around the kids in diapers saying, "What?"
Yes,
I hear people talking to their kids like that all the time, calling them little N-words.
Where you hearing this?
I hear this. I walk the streets of New York City. I hear it all the time.
I find that hard to believe. Yes, people use foul language. Yes, people use the N-word. But what we saw in that video is a whole other level.
So many of you went to the internet to weigh in. We like it when you become engaged, and here's just a few of the responses that we got on social media. Felix Vega News says, watching your debate about that video, I see that type of behavior regardless of race every day as a prosecutor around the courthouse. Miss T says, wonder where you live in New York that parents call their kids the N-word. Absurd video, and baby shouldn't be posted. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Jamie Power says, black people hate at Don Lemon right now for speaking the truth. Tell it. I see it in Macon, Georgia every day. And Jennifer says, poor child doesn't even realize that she's doing anything wrong. It's abusive and invasive. The video will be out there forever. Well, Sergeant John Wells is the president of the Omaha Police Association, which puts this video on their site. Mark Lamont Hill is a CNN political commentator, and Wendy Walsh is a psychologist. Thank you all for joining us. Sergeant Wells, I know this video was on Facebook before it was posted on your site, but many disagree with you. How do you defend the decision to put this out there?
Great question, Don. Well, first of all, this video was public. It was on a person's Facebook page, and it was public for anyone to go and view at the time, unedited. One of our followers tipped us off about this video, and the whole point behind our Facebook page and our website is to give the public, not necessarily the national public, because obviously this has received a lot of attention, but the local public around here, law-abiding citizens, voters, an unfiltered view of what law enforcement deals with in the city of Omaha on a day-to-day basis. Some of that is uplifting, some of it's humorous, some of it is very sad, and some of it, quite frankly, is shocking and evokes an especially emotional reaction.
All right, let's get the
much
reaction.
like this video did.
Yeah, let's get the reaction.
At the end of the day, okay, sorry, Don.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, and then we'll get Mark in. At the end of the day, what?
At the end of the day, the whole point of posting this video was to show, again, the depth of the problem so that people realize this type of thing does happen in Omaha, Nebraska, and we could start to address these very serious issues.
Mark, how do you respond to that?
Well, I appreciate your candor and honesty about that because, over the last few days, some people have been saying that the video was posted out of concern for the child, as a way of a cry for help for the child, when in fact, in many ways, it was the police saying, look at what we have to deal with. We have to deal with people like this. My concern with the video is multiple. One, you posted the child's face. We spent the last few weeks talking about what it means to protect toddlers, protect innocent babies, yet we posted this child's face. That seems deeply problematic. Calling it a thug cycle prepares the world to see him as the end of the cycle. In other words, the outgrowth of a process of thuggery ends with this little boy who's not even ready for grade school yet, and we're already imagining him as a thug. And I agree, the video was already public, very true, but we don't want to mimic the behavior of the very people we're critiquing, right?
So did you have to show his face, and do you agree that it was wrong to call the child a thug? The family in the video asked him to be a thug, to thug in his diaper anyways. Sergeant?
Well, and to be straightforward, we never called the child a thug. We talked about thug culture when we talk about criminal culture, a violent culture, a cycle of violence where we have generations of family that fall into this culture, and we as police officers here in Omaha, Nebraska, have dealt with these generations. And there's a very high-profile story back in December that was reported widely in the media about someone who was recently out of prison and committed a series of 4 homicides that comes from a long generation of people who have had trouble with the criminal justice system.
I'm confused.
As far as children's...
But if you're saying there's a cycle of thugging and that thugs were training this kid, aren't you implicitly saying that at the end of the cycle he'll become a thug? Isn't that the argument? That's what a cycle is.
The fear is that this child is going to go down a path that he can't recover from. My hope and my prayers are that this child gets the help he needs to lead a productive life. We referred this to our child victim unit. It is being investigated. I don't know the specifics about the investigation because the police chief would have to comment about that because it's an ongoing investigation. But again, to the child's face, this was a public video. We didn't record this. We didn't make it public. Once that person who had it on his Facebook page took it down, we blurred the child's voice out.
Okay, Wendy, I want to get your take on this, but just quickly, I want to show you this video. We went to the internet and found some examples of other children with adults cursing. A couple of them. Listen.
That's a good one.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Bitch!
Beautiful combination. He's on, he's down. Something needs to...
Bitch! Yeah!
Suck, shut up.
Shut up.
You weak ass punk.
Shut up. I just knocked his ass out, bitch.
Wendy, it's more common than most people think, right? And it's not just about race, is it?
This is absolutely not about race, except that by forwarding the original particular video that only showed an African-American child, it sends the message out there that this only happens in black culture.
Exactly.
It wasn't representative of the fact that this has to do with lower socioeconomic class people who may not be well educated, and this is how we continue to perpetuate the cycle of poverty and perhaps a cycle of crime, but it's not necessarily representative of any one particular race. This is a class issue. It's not a race issue.
It's also not a class issue. I mean, Alec Baldwin isn't exactly known for parenting. I mean, there are plenty of high-profile and not so high-profile wealthy people who don't talk to their children well. I think part of the problem is that when we have a singular image of a person, it contributes to a broader narrative about who these people are.
Yeah, but I mean, comparing a child to Alec Baldwin, that child will probably have every access in life. These kids probably won't. Wendy, I just have a few seconds here.
Right.
What's the solution?
Well, I think it's early intervention in parenting, that these young parents who clearly are children themselves need to learn that small children and babies are not performing animals doing tricks for you, and understanding that if you decide that you're going to live above the law, that teaching the next generation is not going to actually help keep your genes in the gene pool in the long run.
All right, Wendy, thank you. Sergeant Wells, thank you. And as always, Mark Lamont Hill, thank you as well. Appreciate you coming in. Still to come tonight, what do Beyonce and Donna Brazile have in common? We'll show you next.